morning, fam. Guys, y'all give me just a minute. Good morning, fam. Guys, trying to get my life together this morning. Trying to make sure everybody get fed before I get started doing what I'm doing today. It is pretty cloudy out here, so it looked like it may rain, but it feels amazing to be working. So I got a nice little cool breeze blowing, but it's warm enough to where I am comfortable. So that is great. So I hope everybody's having an amazing weekend. Um, I put some of this off just so I can show some of the ugliness of gardening. All right, so I don't want nobody to be delusional about our YouTube uh, videos showing big pretty gardens with all the nice fruit. It is a point where it actually looks pretty bad, and it requires constant work. Even though you're not getting much out of it at the time, it is necessary. And it's time for everything to start springing back. So it is time to make sure everything is in order so you can get the best growth possible. And that's one of the things I'm gonna bring y'all along with me today on in just one section of the garden. All right. So um, this is three of my I don't know 18 beds that I'm gonna be working on today, and all I'm gonna do is try to get them prepared to come back because they have things in them that you know they come back year to year, so not a problem. um, my greenhouse now, a lot of my plants did really well. Some of them didn't do as well, but I think just about all of them survived, I think. All right, so we're gonna take a look at some of the ones that I brought out of the greenhouse already, and then we're gonna look at what I have left in there. Now, this first one I'm gonna show y'all, it breaks my heart. It is a very, very expensive plant, and it is delicious. And I tried it for the very first time probably 2 years ago, and this is the second plant I tried to grow, and it didn't do well over the winter. Now, this one, I don't know if it's coming back, but I am praying, hoping and praying. It was doing really, really well up until that last freeze. And I don't know why it changed because the greenhouse was still going, but everything just kind of wilted and fell away. So we got it here this morning. Mercy Carr, what's up, fam? Uh, David Blunnett, Food, Water, and Land. Odom Homestead, what's up, fam? Good to see you, bro. Hey, this one here, $250. It is so sad. And I'm looking at it, and because I don't know much about it, and it's a very, very tropical plant, I don't think it actually supposed to go dormant, which means that it may not come back. I don't know. All right. So my plants, they took a hit, but they are still surviving. This is my eucalyptus. My mangoes. It looked like it tried the fruit, and then it decided I'm just gonna look crazy. My star fruit, they did okay. They did okay. Now this one ain't the best looking one. This is another star fruit. Looks pretty good, I think. Um, this is another one. So I'm trying to decide. if I'm gonna leave them back here, I did take some of them up front where I typically keep my tropicals. This is my sugar apple. It's struggling, but it is surviving. So one thing about the tropicals, guys, I expect them to, to be hurt, but I want them to survive, and that's the whole goal. So this one was fruiting at one point, and of course it decided I'm just gonna drop all my leaves. That's lemon zest. Now this one, it survived. It actually held on to all the leaves, and I don't know what variety that is. So this one, guys, I am super excited. I got a couple of these. These are my lychee. Now, a lot of people are not familiar with the lychee, but it is a great, amazing tropical fruit. It's kind of hard to explain the taste of a lychee, but it tastes amazing to me. And I had to have the plant, so I have two of those. Of course, my pineapple, my bay rum plant. I'm waiting to see what that's gonna do. I think that's gonna bounce back. My pineapples, I left some of them out a little long. Soursop, Jesus, it's definitely alive. They look like this every year, but they will come back. I can see the green in them. That's one of them. Let's go in the greenhouse. So most of these here are my soursop trees that I have still left in here. As you can see, they dropped a lot of their leaves, but as you can see, they are on the comeback. So now that the weather has turned, they all are doing what they need to do to try to come back. So you can see along the stem, those are all new leaves about to come out. I'm gonna go ahead and pull them out of here. Of course, there's a couple more back there. And that's one sugar apple. And then I got some seedlings that made it. Even though some of them are ugly, they're still alive. This thing jam packed. And it's I got my dragon fruit back there behind that ugly soursop. So they did really, really well inside the greenhouse. Like this, one of the plants that didn't get hurt or harmed at all. So a little bit of protection did a lot. Lychee, however you want to say it, but it did amazing. It looks way better than the other one, and I will be super surprised if I get fruit off of this one this year. And I think I'll probably be one of the first people in Savannah, Georgia to grow lychee. Could be wrong. And I have a whole bunch of other little tropicals here that kind of fell asleep, and I'm waiting for them to see if they're gonna rebound. That's my passion fruit. That's a passion fruit from a cutting. Pineapples. This is my variegated lemon, pink lemon, and this is a bigger one. They're all coming back. But these are the beds that I'm gonna be working on today. Is a strawberry. So this first one, if you ever seen any of the videos, this is where I grow a lot of my cayenne pepper at. So it's a cayenne bed. Now, from time to time, they come back and continue to grow over the next. Oh, look at here. So this is what we'll be looking for. That's how you know that they're coming back. So I'm gonna give them a little bit of time and a little bit of love and see if I can get them to come back. If not, I'm gonna replant. They grow really, really fast, so I will get a big crop of them. I think my problem with the cayenne is the difficulty in picking them. Like it takes a long time because you get millions of cayenne. So these are my beds that I'm gonna be playing with today. I'm gonna try to get this whole area ready. It's so much. It's so much I got to do today. And I'm just gonna kind of work. And whoever pops in, and you know, just to see what I got going on. I'm just gonna be working in the garden, messing around. This morning I had to get my life together, make sure everybody was fed, everybody was watered. Cause once I get started doing what I'm doing, I kind of just zone out, and then the animals are hungry, and that's not right. So again, guys, good morning. Good morning. So your brother, and we just hanging out this morning. Coming back in for sure. That's what's up. What's up? Awesome as always. Cut my peppers. So Odom, oh man, you wait up. You in the cold. So yours come back every year also. So it's been, and it could be I rushed them. Um, our weather gets warm really fast, and I expect for my plants to start responding immediately, and sometimes they don't. And so therefore I go ahead and pull them and I replant them. Cayenne start growing so fast and they start responding so fast that I kind of don't worry about it as much. But it'll be amazing if they come back from this particular root system because, man, I can imagine the size of those plants. These plants were big. They probably was 3, 4 foot tall, wide. I actually planted, but I got them in other places too because I was so much. Odom, I gotta come over there and check you out, man. See what y'all got going on. I know y'all still pretty cold. I know it's a lot of places, but man, I think we was 85 degrees yesterday. You know, it's pretty humid right now, but it's a nice little breeze blowing, so really comfortable to be out here. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I'm gonna start by going ahead and cutting some of these peppers back, some of these old kings off, and just manage them. I'm not gonna take all the dead leaves and stuff out. I'm gonna let them stay in there. It'll help manage the weeds, and of course, it'll feed the soil. What? 70s and 80s? Where were you at, Odom? I can't remember. But I could swear you was in a cold climate. But let's go ahead and get this done. Cause I thought some places were still getting snow. I don't watch the news, so I could be wrong. One thing I'll do with these peppers this year, especially if they come back, I'm gonna have to get a better system of staking them. So I did put kings on them and actually tried to hold them up. That didn't do no good. They were so heavy from all the fruit that they just all just started wanting to lay down, and they just pulled the stick down with them. So keep that in mind. I'm probably gonna have to invest in some heavy duty cages for each one of them, which gonna probably get a little expensive. So I can tell by some of these canes that they good. Okay, some of them will be, the rest of them might be. Some will be, the rest of them might be. Since, but because I use them in, I need all I can get. So I'm constantly out here harvesting these and drying them. But because business is not what it was, obvious reason. Well, life has been strange here lately. I have a ton of dried cayenne peppers, like a ton, which usually I'm using them as fast as I can actually um, dry 'em. Yeah, so these things are good. Things are really good. So I'm pretty convinced of them will. And guys, if you're doing amazing benefit, you definitely need to check it out. It is an amazing herb. It's great for heart health. It is I don't even know if y'all can hear me. Herb, it is heart. So it can actually stop a heart attack. So somebody some stuff some cayenne pepper in their life. That give them the without having any. This is not medical advice, but yes, this is it's documented. Avoid in there. I have okay. Why I thought that. It's been documented that it actually will stop a heart attack. So if you get and they're easy to grow, definitely do that. Um amazing herb. It can be used for weight loss. You know, it warms the body. With a good diet and some exercise, it actually helps increase the burning of calories. And so much more. I mean, it is an amazing group. I incorporated it into some of our creams, definitely in my pain away oil, because being able to absorb capsaicin inside will relieve pain. I mean, it's just an amazing herb. So I make sure I have plenty of that, and it is an easy plant to grow. If you see one, and I will recommend that you grab one. Even if you can grow it in a pot, it is something great to have. All you need to do is pick it, Dry is one of the easier herbs to dry. You know, you could just hang it up, put it somewhere with some holes in it, and allow the air to just dry that. You know, or if you want to do it faster, you could do it in a dehydrator or a freeze dryer. It is a great herb, and just to have it around will save your life. You know, we typically will have a pack of it in our pockets if we don't think about it. Let's say I. So just take it and freeze dry or dehydrate it, crush it up into powder, and just keep it in your pocket. You never know when you're walking around when somebody may be having one of those issues that you could save their life. We did have somebody come in one time and say that they were having a heart attack, and they know because they had one before. They threw some cayenne pepper in their mouth and then went to the hospital. Well, by the time they got to the hospital, they didn't see no signs of them having a heart attack. So just keep that in mind, guys. It can save your life. All the natural herbs and things that it does, they don't talk about. You know, everything need to be a pill, and I think that is really harmful to everybody because pills damage the body. When you take a natural herb, the natural uptake of those herbs are already there because God made those herbs in a pill form. If it's not, it's just a derivative. They got to make all kind of ways for your body to be able to process it, for it to actually be able to uptake into your body and be useful. So it, I think people think if I take something, it's automatically going to be used in my body, and that's not the case. Sometimes it just passed through your body. You know, you're number one it out or number two it out, right? So it ain't necessarily being used. A lot of us see that in the multivitamins. When you go to the bathroom after taking one of them, you got this bright orange, yellowish, whatever urine coming out. Pills that you just took. If your body was using it, then it wouldn't be coming out of your body like that, right? So it's not. So finding a natural herb that got those vitamins and nutrients in it is important. Okay, so let me see if I can change my settings a little bit without messing nothing up. So how do I sound now? So Odom Homestead, I have met them. You know, great couple. They grow. They know all this information, and there's a lot of people in here, I'm sure, that do know it. A lot of people that don't. It's very new to growing and trying to be self-sufficient. And there's a lot of information that we just don't know because it's not something that's forced upon us. It's not something that we're told about. So they make us believe the only way we could take care of ourselves is by going and taking medication or pills, and they leave out all the natural things you can do. Will everybody do the natural stuff? No, because it do require you to go and learn some stuff and go in and put some work for. They rather just go to the store, pay some money, and get the pills. But for those of us who will do it, who just don't know that we could do it or what it does, it'd be great to have that information readily available. It should be pushed out there just like it's all this other stuff is being pushed out, right? And it'll make the world, it'll make the United States a lot better place because I mean this stuff is harming people. When you destroy your organs because you're trying to take care of yourself with a whole bunch of pills, yeah, whatever that pill is supposed to be doing, it is doing harm other places. Your body has to work real hard to process that pill. Your body is not designed to work like that. not for no long periods of time. So I tell anybody, if you go through a surgery or you have some major incident and you have to take those pain pills, take them and stop as soon as possible. Don't sit around trying to anticipate a pain, right? So people they tell you to take this pill so that pain never come. But what if that pain was never going to come to you? Because the pain that you get is not necessarily the pain that somebody else get. May be in excruciating pain from whatever, and it may not bother you as bad. So you might be able to just take something that's going to actually just calm it down just a little bit. Well, you taking these pain meds, anticipating that it's actually going to be bad, and it never gets bad, but you never know it because you're taking the pain pill. And you're thinking maybe the pain pill is stopping the pain. Well, what you're doing is getting your body used to actually having that pain pill. And once you do that, guys, you just screw everything up. The longer you take it, the more your body just respond badly, because they constantly got to work. So, guys, am I coming good? Let me know real quick. Anybody? Can y'all hear me? See me? Yeah, no, maybe. So I'm out here in the yard. Okay, okay. I'm out here in the yard, and I'm not sure how the signal coming through. But because we're now reaching some new people who are just seeing me or the content for the very first time, I really need to make sure all the information is out there that people would need to know. um, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I have said some of the stuff I said a lot of times, and I'm assuming, sometimes that everybody have heard this stuff, and then I realized that a lot of people are just hearing it for the very first time. So I don't want to do anybody no disservice by talking over nobody's head and not letting them know exactly where we come from, why we do what we do. Um, why homesteaders like me and Odom and all the other amazing homesteaders that's in here are growing and raising our food the best to our ability. The amazing taste, the amazing benefits, the fact that you're not harming your family with all the sprays and stuff that they typically have to put on a lot of this stuff. You won't get no recall out of your yard. The recalls come because these big corporations got all these people and all these processes, and they don't know what's going on. They only can monitor what they're doing, and what they're doing is having hundreds of thousands of people out there doing a bunch of weird things. You never know when somebody disgruntled. So to be able to harm your food system is the best way to harm a lot of people. So you have to keep that in mind. But money is the main thing when it comes to anything, in America. So whether it's gonna sell, I can't make sure there's no blemishes on my food. So I'm gonna spray it with all these sprays, regardless to whatever it do to these people. So good morning, Garden Essentials. So we grow and we raise our food. For one, it tastes way better, guys. You get to grow the varieties that taste so good. You know, I say go to places like farmers markets and stuff like that, and get to know some of the local farmers. And see if they doing it right, and trying to get some of that food. Then you can support a local farmer also, and that helps everybody also, because when you're a homesteader, you kind of sell what you make or what you got, and it helps to get the homestead actually going. So guys, while I clip this, I definitely want each and every one of y'all to speak to each other in the chat. Get to know each other, try to figure out if y'all could be a benefit to each other. If you have a channel, hey, feel free, talk to the people, let them know who you are, what you got going on. And I'm gonna go to clipping a little bit. All right. yeah. Oh yeah. So guys, I am super excited about that because I do see a few of my plants that got they starting to come back already. So knowing that I don't have to start over is amazing. I'm gonna let some of them actually grow out some more, and I'm gonna top them. I'm gonna put some rabbit manure in there, and I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put some blood meal on there, see if I can go ahead and boost the growth. Now, guys, if you're not familiar with blood meal, it is a natural way to give your plants nitrogen. If you're not familiar with nitrogen, nitrogen is really important to get the growth of plants going. All right, so that's your your vegetation, your leafy green growing. All right. So to get started first thing in the spring, to go in and get some of your plants going, throwing a little bit of nitrogen on them definitely helps. All right. So older mom, what do you stake your Cayenne up with? I mean, because this did not hold them. And I think because they got so big and so heavy that whenever the wind blew, it just kind of wiggled this up out the ground and it just kind of laid them all down, which made it more difficult for me to deal with. Everything grew fine still. It's just that, this didn't hold them up. And it could be, this is a lot of potting soil, so it's not a very heavy soil. So it's kind of hard. It don't stick down in there. Maybe I have to get a longer or something sharper or harder and bam it in down into the ground per se in order for me to get them to stay. But what do you do? So fam, I don't know how long this signal is gonna allow us to be great, but it do feel good out here. I mean, I can literally sit out here all day and be 100% comfortable. This particular bed, all right, which you probably can't see that good. This is my basil and my stevia, and it is already coming back. So one thing I definitely want to bring attention to, guys. Let's see. Can you see this crap? There we go. One thing I want to, that's a little too far away. Can't see nothing. Is artificial sweetness. Um, don't believe the hype, guys. You're not being healthier. You're not doing better by using artificial sweeteners. All that stuff is chemically based. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, you know, I put stevia or no sugar, low carb, whatever sweetener in whatever I'm eating or drinking. Uh, guys, that stuff is heavily processed with a whole bunch of chemicals, and it is not what they said it is. This here is a stevia leaf. The non-sweetener, the sweetener that's non-sugar. This is it. At no time is it ever white. So if you ever see stevia in the store and it's white, that's a whole bunch of chemically processed stuff. All right. I dry this. I make powder out of it. It's still green. Nothing makes it turn white. And yeah, it's sweet. It's a sweet leaf, but it is not white, and it don't taste like that stevia that's in the store. Can you use it as a sweetener? You most definitely can. It is a sweet leaf, but it's just not that kind of sweet, and it don't look nothing like that. So you are actually eating something that's probably worse off for you than the sugar. And once I got into this, like I'm just like a lot of y'all. I'm 100% surprised by all this stuff once I started diving into it. All right, I believe just what everybody else said. What everybody else thought about the foods, and okay, I'm doing better. I'm eating better because I'm not eating the sugars, and I'm not. Guys, it's not. It's not real. All right, none of that stuff that they're telling you is real. Sugar-free cokes and sugar-free pops and sugar-free anything. None of that stuff is real. All right. Why take something that we know to have some issues, which is sugar, and just take it away and put something that's worse in there? But it say no sugar. The only thing you know is bad is the sugar. You don't know that the chemicals that they're putting in there is worse than the sugars. All right. And the sugars are bad because of the process they're going through, not because it's sugarcane. It's the highly process that it goes through that actually makes it bad. And most of that stuff is not even sugarcane. It's just chemicals and crap. You know what I mean? And the thing about it, the information is there, right? It's not something that's going to be pushed in your algorithm, because it's not something that they really want you to know about. You know, they want to be able to say if you look hard enough or if you interested enough, you will actually find out the truth. Well, that's not how America is or how people work. The information that's readily available that you constantly put in my face is what I'm gonna learn. You know, I don't know to go and look for something else because y'all not making it known that something else is out there to be looked for. If you telling me this is diet, well, I want to be on a diet. I want to lose some weight. Uh, that stuff ain't doing nothing. It ain't making you lose weight. It's actually worsening your health. You know, I grow sugar cane. I have turned the sugar cane to sugar. Looks nothing like what you buy at the store. It tastes nothing like what you buy at the store. And because I live down south, Odom live down south, we know what sugar cane tastes like, right? Well, when you turn sugar cane into sugar, it tastes like sugar cane. It's extremely sweet, but it still has the sugar cane taste. Well, a lot of people gonna be like, so what's that? Well, I was born in the South, right? So I'm a little shocked that most people ain't, I ain't gonna say most, a lot of people ain't never even taste the sugar cane, which is crazy to me because we grew up, you know, people riding around in trucks, selling it off the back of their trucks, you know, and it's just readily available here. Well, not living in other parts of the country don't realize they never even saw a sugar cane before. Better let even taste one. So, and there's so many different varieties of sugar cane. The process is long and tedious to make it into sugar, but it is also really rewarding. But that's how you actually realize, guys, what they're feeding us is not what they say it is. You know, don't never take nothing that says that it's diet or it's better for your health and it's prepackaged and it comes from a major corporation or a business. Never take that as that is what it is because it's not. It's not. So one of the basic things I think people should know. Let's get this right, guys. I think one of the things that people should know, guys. Let me see. First time growing, it was last year. Yes, still green after I made powder. It is. It is. Like it's crazy because I looked into it. I've tried to figure out how is stevia white, and I can't figure it out. It's just a process. Now, I don't want to say I understand why the major corporations do what they do, but I do. You know what I mean? So why would I produce a product that costs, hundreds of thousands of dollars just for me to send it to the store for them to send it back because it went bad? So what they have to do is they have to find a chemical process that will prolong the life of that food. And there's no food sitting on no shelf, nowhere, or none of these major stores that's not doused in chemicals. What are those chemicals, guys? Well, what are our ailments? Because that's what the chemicals are doing, right? They got all kind of weird names, sound pretty harmless, but they are preservatives. So our food is designed to break down in our bodies so our body can use it as nutrients. Well, if they put chemicals on it that stop it from breaking down on the shelf, then you're putting that in your body. You know, that's that's bad. You know, that's not how our bodies are designed to work. But yet you put these chemicals on there, and all they have to do is to show that it's not finna, you're not finna kill over right now. But what is it gonna do to your body long term? Nobody knows, right? Well, somebody do know, you know, and some of us are gonna respond way worse to some of those chemicals than others. So we have to keep all that in mind. Now, can you avoid today not going to the store? No. I mean, for the most of us, no. Can you avoid going less? Yes. Can you be more intentional on what you're doing and how you're doing it? Yes, you can. You know, every little bit helps. You know, avoiding putting hundreds of gallons a year of chemicals in your bodies that's messing up your organs, you know, causing the big C word, messing up your blood pressure, you know, giving you all these ailments. And nobody knows exactly why they are feeling the way they feel because all you doing is eating food. And ain't you trying to be healthy while you doing it. You know, if I was to say any food in the store was safe, I say the ones in the freezer section. But I can't even say that, you know, because, you know, are they putting anything on it before they freeze it? Freezing something is a good way to preserve it. So do they have to? They don't have to. You know, how are they growing it? Is there anything on it before they actually freeze it? You know, who knows? Nobody know. Only way you're gonna know is that you actually grow it yourself. You know exactly what you put in your body. And it is an amazing feeling. And guys, I can't tell you how amazing the food tastes, how much better. Now, Odom, you grew up in the country because you may have know about the difference in the taste in the food all your life. Coming from somebody who actually at certain point in his life was able to judge what it tastes like then versus what it tastes like now, like it's a major difference. You know, I give some of my fruits and vegetables to my neighbors, and their minds are blown. How do people who love tomatoes say they never tasted tomato like this before? Or I had people that say that they couldn't eat the tomato because it was too sweet. That they ain't used to their tomato actually being that sweet. So that's another thing, guys. When you have uh, heirloom varieties of vegetables that you're growing, these are the original vegetables. These are the ones that God had put here, or they've been here forever. You know, God put original here, original there, and sometimes they cross mingle with each other. But nature did that. You know, man didn't do it. So when man do it, man make it where it's bigger, it's prettier, it got a longer shelf life. Well, the reason why the shelf life is so much longer is because the nutrients and vitamins and sugars in that fruit is less. Your vitamins, sugars, your nutrients is what make your fruit break down. So a fruit's supposed to be not ripe, it's supposed to ripen, get stronger in sugars and nutrients, and then break down and is gone. So what they do, they get one that got less vitamins, it got less nutrients, less sugars, and it gets to this point and it stays this way for a long time. Well, that's the one we want to put on the shelf. If we can make it bigger, make it prettier, but less nutrients, less sugars, so it'll last longer on the shelf, that's what we selling. Well, in your garden, you don't have to do that. You can grow the heirloom varieties, the ones that actually taste amazing. They give you all the nutrients that your body's supposed to have. And I said this before, guys. You know, if you're telling me the original, uh, let's say tomato, supposed to give me X, Y, and Z in nutrients. But you that went there and you have, you know, scientifically designed a tomato that got less or different properties to it, how can you still say I'm getting these nutrients from that particular fruit or vegetable? You can't, right? So all this stuff is designed to, to fool us. Um, some of the stuff is designed just to make money, but it hurts us. And it's a big circle, right? You know, I'm willing to bet that there's a lot of people who are involved in the food industry that's also involved in the pharmaceutical industry. So if we put a certain chemical in certain foods that we know going to eventually cause certain issues, and I make the medicine that's supposed to address those problems that we creating, you know, that's a win-win, right? Why not invest in something that you created? Well, unfortunately, these are real people, real lives. These are real consequences to people. And there's so many people out there that I hear and I see that's trying to diet, trying to get healthy, but they're doing all the wrong things because they don't know no better. But how can they know? Nobody telling them, Nobody telling them, that bread on that sandwich is is the whole problem that you having. Nobody telling them that, you know. All I ate was a sandwich. I ate a tomato sandwich. Oh, I ate a ham and cheese sandwich. That's all I ate all day. How am I not losing weight? How am I still having these issues, these blood pressure problems and diabetes and all that stuff? How am I having these problems if all I'm eating is a ham sandwich? Well, nobody told you that, you, that bread is causing all your problems. You that cut out all these foods, but the bread is the culprit, you know, because the breads of the day, what we eat now, is not it's not our original wheats. This is highly processed, man-made wheat that changed all the properties to just like they did the vegetables and the fruit, and it don't react in our body the way it's supposed to. Some of us are having gluten problems, right? The gluten comes from the wheat that we're eating. It has way more gluten than the original wheat. Like, I forget, 2 to 4 times more, So therefore, a lot of people who got gluten issues could eat um, the original wheats, which they do sell in other countries, but not here in the United States. I ain't gonna say they sell, but they do use. Like they refuse to use our wheat. They don't want that stuff shipped over in those other countries because they know the problems that it causes. You know, you may be like, oh, other people eat that same bread and they're not having that problem. They're not you. They don't have your genetics. They don't have your predisposition. So therefore, just because somebody else can eat it and survive and live okay, that don't mean you can. So all us actually respond to things differently. It's just genetics, the way we are born, you know. And bread is something that affects all us. That wheat, that highly processed wheat. Everybody talk about the sugars. Sugars are bad, but that wheat is worse. Is worse. So everything is doing pretty good for us coming back this year. Um, my stevia, jeez. So I don't know how I'm gonna do this one because it's laying all the way on the side. I am gonna plant some new stuff this year. So I am gonna come over here and I'm gonna do some weed eating because weeds are the first thing that comes back every year, and they will take over your garden. Here come the sun. I was okay without that stuff for a little bit. Like it was feeling pretty good out here. It's gonna cook me in a minute though. But what I have started doing, guys, is a no-till method. So I have been having amazing results not tilling my ground. I do pull up old crops, and I I disturb the soil in that fashion. But other than that, I don't dig in the ground no more. If I want to put some nutrients in there, I just top dress it. And we'll get more into detail on that. I don't want to, dive too much in that and get people kind of thrown off because of all the terminologies and advancements. So new growers, because this is a new channel, and I know there are some new growers. I know the experienced growers will definitely understand the reasoning behind it, but there is life in your soil, guys. And if you don't disturb your soil and you keep it nutrient filled, it actually travels nutrient. It'll actually travel through your soil, and when your plants get down there, your plants can tap into that. Uh, let's say super highway of nutrients that's in your soil. So the roots can go in there and tap in there, and then your plant actually grow bigger, stronger, healthier. All right. So a lot of people want to know. Sugarcane is very easy, Odom. Get you a cane. If you can find somebody with a cane, just one cane, um, and put it in the ground. Don't dig it. Don't dig deep. Dig a trail, a trestle, like a groove in the ground, and just lay it in there. You can chop it up into different nodes if you want different, um, uh, in different places. But the nodes are where you get your growth from, right? So if you want to eat the middle and just plant the nose, you can, or you could just lay the whole thing down there. You can cut it up into 1, 2 feet sections if you like, and just plant it. They grow. It's a grass. One thing you want to do with sugar cane before your first frost, you want to go in and harvest it, right? Because just like any other grass, it takes a hit once the cold weather hit it. So harvest it before your first, and it'll do great. So, I mean, definitely grow it. There's so many varieties. Um, I went down to Florida. I got a couple of different varieties. I have lost a couple of different varieties, but I think I grow. I might not have enough, but 4 of them left. But I had a bunch of them. So if you do some research on sugarcane, you realize there's a ton of them. So I like the for chewing. They got a purple one. It's soft. It's actually amazing. Like I love that one. You could juice it too, but they do have certain canes that's you know particularly made for juicing, so you can press it out and you can actually make your sugar cane. You can make your sugar with it. But I got a jar of sugarcane juice in the house. I pressed my sugarcane out last year, and what I do is I just use it sparingly because I don't want to use it all. I tried not to use. all of it. And what I was gonna do is make sugar out of it, but I think I can make it last a lot longer. Grow what I eat. What's up, fam? So, guys, another amazing grower in the house. It's a lot of us, guys. And all you have to do is check out some of these channels and get some of this knowledge, man. Because I think the more people we can get into growing, the more like-minded people they can be. Growers tend to be pretty good people. I mean, it's just something about doing it actually makes people good. Because I think you need to be somewhat peaceful to be able to enjoy growing. If you're not a peaceful person, you're not gonna really care for it. Because if you're chaotic and you just kind of need to stay involved in all kind of other stuff, you're not gonna really enjoy what it feels like to be here in the garden. You know, making sure everything is in order, putting your hands down there in that dirt, and actually cultivating life and growing, seeing things progress. It's almost like having the continuous uh, feeling of raising a successful kid, but you get to do it every season, from all the way from the seed all the way to harvest. And it requires you to have the enjoy to want the enjoyment of seeing what you created actually come to fruition. So I have learned that just by having the expos that we had and meeting some of the people. I can always tell. Not too much about to start pulling some of these trees out of the greenhouse. Yep, that's exactly what I just did. Looked like a great trip to the big box store yesterday. It was, man. I was not planning on doing what I did, but I could not help it. I came back with a truckload of stuff. I don't need nothing else. But this is the first time I saw a grafted apple tree, guys. So I saw the apple tree, right, and it was like it was flowering. And I'm saying that, wow, that's a lot of flowers for an apple tree. But I'm like, yeah, but who need an apple? I got like 4 or 5 apple trees in my yard now. So I'm like, so who needs an apple? And I'm sitting there looking at it. I lift the sleeve up, and I'm like, this apple tree grafted. I said, hold up, where they do that at? I gotta have it. So I got that, and man, it kind of went left from there. And I came back with a truckload of stuff that I can't afford and shouldn't have and didn't need. But you know, life has been crazy, and I needed to actually do something for myself, and it made me happy to do it. So I actually, came back home with some new babies. So I got to make time to get them done on top of all the other stuff that's being done. I finally got into my bees. I got them straight. I'm glad I actually went into to them because some of them needed my help, and so now I'm expecting to get a pretty nice harvest of spring honey because everything is started off really, really, really fast. I think I would have lost one of my hives because it was jam packed and it needed another box, and I was thinking it was too early. So yeah, it's a lot going on this time of year, but it makes me happy. You know what I mean? And one thing with bringing people along on this process, guys, is I want everybody throughout the year to see exactly what I started at, what it looked like, and I want you to see what it actually becomes. And one thing that'll do is actually when you get started and you are looking at your garden and thinking that, wow, this is crazy. Like, it's not supposed to look like this. I did something wrong. No, no, you didn't. This is this is the process. Yeah, we like showing off our our harvest, We like to show when everything has started, you know, blooming and everything looks beautiful. But that's not the whole thing. So because I want people to grow, I want y'all to see everything. I want y'all to see how it actually looked in the beginning, and I want you to see how it actually will turn out. And that way you have a realistic mindset of what it's gonna take to grow. So it is some work, but if you enjoy what you do, is it ever work, right? And that's one of the more disheartening things that went on in my life is that this became my full time, and now it's not. You know, um, like I literally was the happiest I think I've been in forever. When you get up and you go to work, and you working because you need to make money, that's one thing. If you ever get to a point where you getting up because you love it and you able to make money, um, that is a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. And I don't think, you know, there's nothing else I can do to get that feeling except for this. Am I going to ever get back to that point? I don't know. But it's good to actually have gotten there and actually um, knew what it felt like to be there. But, one thing you're gonna do, guys, when you are messing with these beds, your whole thing gonna be, I need to go ahead and clean out all these dead leaves and all that. Don't. If you take all the leaves, all the dead leaves off the bottom, all you're gonna do is make room for weeds to grow, right? In the state of Arizona, they're trying to be like California, non-stop building, and you can't do too much with nothing. You continue taking the land, every empty spot they take, and you start building. Yeah, that's seriously sad. That's seriously sad. But also know, you can grow in very small spaces. Like the amount of stuff I grow in on my property, and I live in the suburbs, guys. I know y'all may think I live in the middle of the country somewhere. I don't. I live in the suburbs. I have my property set up to where I can actually grow as much as I want. I got a meat source here. I got, eggs is protein too. Um, I do grow out meat chickens every, so often. I grow all the vegetables I got. I'm gonna say hundreds of trees, and I got 16 varieties of bananas. I mean, I got a lot going on. Like this whole process it's gonna take me doing it like I'm doing it now. Like if I was doing it full time, I can go ahead and get it done. But it takes me a while. But it's actually something. Look at all the stuff I would be doing if I couldn't be out here doing this. I'll be sitting on the couch, watching TV, or going someplace to try to find something to do. I could just come outside and I enjoy myself, and I actually create something and actually make progress in a whole lot of things. And I learn, because the more I do, the more I try to pick up. And then when I pick it up, I make sure I bring it and I share it with everybody, that want to hear, you know. And this is not for everybody, it's not, And I think if it's not for you, then it's just not. But it is for a lot of us. But it's a lot of us that don't know this stuff exists. And I'm making it one of my missions to everybody who actually want to know. I'm here to let you know, and I want to share it along. They have an amazing community. I don't have as many of my community no more. We'll get them back. And I want to bring new people in. And I think that's more amazing to be able to reach out to people who are not aware of this amazing life. Some people may say, well, I was born in the city and I don't know nothing about this country stuff. I was born in the city. you know, this ain't got nothing to do with where you were born at. It's got to do with, your spirit and learning a new way. Because, like they say, if you know better, you do better. And that's for most of us. That's not all of us. Some of us know better and won't do better anyway. But to the people who actually want better, you should know that there is a way, right? See, Odom say you born in the city too. Like you will literally start doing this and you will just gravitate towards it. It ain't got nothing to do with where you actually came from. You know, HOA is stopping people from doing anything in their yards. You get to go by their rules, even if your land, they'll still have control of what you can and can't have. That's so sickening. Yeah, I can never live in an HOA, but there are ways around it. You know what I mean? Because there are other ways of growing. Um, you may have to get a bed, a raised bed, or a growing area that is not necessarily in your ground. Matter of fact, let me take you over here. And you know, this costs, but I can never live someplace where, people prevent me from doing stuff on the property that I'm paying for. I understand why they do, but it's just not for me, right? So this is a veggie pod. All right. So this is a really, really nice growing system. And it's something that you could just put on your patio. It has a cover on it, so it actually will keep the bugs down. The bottom part is water reservoirs, and they come in different sizes, right? And if you wanted to, you can hook a water hose to this, which will then attach to a sprinkler system that's in the top and just water it. But it's not really necessary. That's not necessary because if you have it outside and it's not covered when it rains, it will it will go through the soil and it will fill the reservoirs up. And you may not ever have to water this thing because it's gonna always have water down there. Your roots will reach down and they will tap into the water, or it'll wick up through the soil. Now, this is a lot of potting soil. You see, right up under the surface, guys. That's wet. You know what I mean? It don't stay wet like this here. But I just watered it a couple days ago, as you can probably see. And you can grow a good bit of food in here, guys. I mean, this is the size of a typical garden bed, but they sell it in sections, so you can get half that. And you don't necessarily have to have this top on it, but it is really good, and it actually keeps it um, a little warmer. So in the cold times of year, you can still grow a little bit more, a little longer, and it actually food grow better in this thing. I don't know why, but it does. So you just have to make sure you keep it fertilized. It has your potting soil in it, so it's real draining, and you don't have to worry about the bugs quite as much. And if you live in an HOA or something like that, apartment, a penthouse, not a penthouse, but what you call it, escapes me. But if you live in an apartment type setting and you have a space on your patio, you most definitely can have this on here. And you just find the foods that you actually enjoy and you grow them. That's the stuff you don't necessarily have to go to the store and buy. And I'm gonna tell you guys, once you start growing, I advise you to find the heirloom variety of whatever it is that you want to eat. Don't buy, don't use the one that you get from the grocery store. Don't use the seeds. Don't use the cuttings from it. Go find the heirloom variety and grow that. And to those who are brand new, when I say heirloom, what you may not know, each vegetable, each fruit have hundreds or a bunch of different varieties to them. All right. Most of them you will never see and never taste unless you grow them yourself. But you can find the seeds, and the way they did it is typically when they went into places like the tombs, places that from back in the day, and they'll find old fruit or old seeds, and they take them and they grow them, and then they get the seeds from them, and then that's how they bring these old varieties back from back in the day. And these are the ones that's gonna give you the most flavor, the most taste. They're gonna give you the most benefit, and they're gonna look completely different from what you typically get. So that's my advice. Do what you want. I say if you're brand new, growing is growing, get started, get the bug, and then get more into what it is that you know you're doing. Find all the details out. So I am super excited about these strawberries, guys. I got these from HOA last year up in Virginia, and they're different varieties, and I'm hoping that they're like super sweet. I hate buying strawberries that's so hit or miss. Sometimes they nice and big and pretty and they taste like nothing. Sometimes they sweet. These varieties supposed to be sweet. So I'm excited about that. And I think I'm gonna just allow this bed to be all strawberry this year. I grew a whole lot of stuff in there last year. Um, a lot of peppers, as you can see these tags. Of course, some of my cayenne. These are chives. These are really good. So that's just one of my other beds. And let me show you another one. This one comes from Vigo Garden, and it's another bed that's really, really good for patio growing. I have so many beds, guys, but I love growing in beds. I love growing in beds more than I do the ground, and that's just my preference. So this bed, so this is another great bed, and this one came from Vigo, which I love their stuff. And um, they supported my other channels that I don't have access to at the moment. but I still appreciate them so much. I'm gonna talk about them on this channel because I love their products. I mean, this stuff is quality. So, water, water reservoir here, and it's one back here. And this right here is just an indicator of how much water is in there, right? And it's just like the other bed. When it rains, it will fill up the reservoirs down here at the bottom. And once it gets too high, it'll just drain out. So definitely look into that. That's something that you can do in your HOA. I'm sure you may not be able to put in the ground, but I'm sure I can't say I'm sure, but I wouldn't think that they'll have a problem with you having one of those on your back patio. Now, all this crap that I'm doing, yeah, you definitely will get all kind of fines. uh, all these banana plants, and like I just went around and I just chopped them all down so they can start back growing. I'ma go and I'ma film what they look like just so I can actually show in a couple of months what they become, and then show y'all the harvest. You have to be somebody who loves the process. I do. You know, I see people say all the time, I tried to grow, and I failed at it. And, you know, I just don't have, I got a black thumb or just no good at it. Yes, if I told y'all how much stuff I had annihilated here, like you'll be like, wow. You know, I push the envelope. You know, that's why I grow tropical fruit. Live in the tropics. It is extremely difficult to grow the stuff that I grow here. And I have lost a lot of them. But I went and got them again. And I tried something different. And then tried something different until I got to a point where I can actually get it to work for me. So a challenge is not something that I'm going to shy away from. What is the best cover to keep the birds and pigeons from eating your plants? Um, I don't do anything too much. I do have I have fruit bags. So a lot of times birds like to pick holes in certain fruit. I'll go around and I'll bag them up, and that stops them from getting to them. You know, that's a lot of bags. Well, depending on how much you're growing. So you don't, as far as the other plants, I don't really have no problems with that. Just them damaging, certain fruit is the problem I would have. And it'd be fine if they only damage one. But they'll go around and pick holes and everything, So you just buy bags. They actually sell net bags that you put over to protect all that stuff. So yeah, it's a way around it all. That's a good thing when it comes to being in these communities and talking and actually being able to meet people. No, guys, when you come into this chat or you come into uh, this community, the goal is to make you familiarize you with other people in the community. So I would love for people to actually talk to people and get to know people. Um, if somebody live closer to where you live, you know, there's some information that they can give you that may be a little different than what I can give because I live, you know, in another area. So you could take what I say generally, but some things are gonna be different. I realized that, you know, going up in North Carolina, that, you know, they don't have bugs that bite. I didn't. I thought gnats, mosquitoes, and everything was everywhere. So I'm sitting around and I see these little bugs flying around, and I'm like, you know, I said, what are these? Because they landing on me and they're not biting me. And they talking about biting you. I was like, yeah, these don't bite. I said, they're like, no. So yeah, gnats are not everywhere. And if you're in a certain place, you don't even know what a gnat is, I'm sure. But like, they are horrible. You know, horse flies. You know, a whole lot of mosquitoes. Like, all that stuff down here drive you absolutely crazy. But certain places they don't have them. So I'm assuming that most of the some of the that we have that's an issue here may not be bugs that's an issue other places, but I'm sure they do have bugs that are issue. You know, I know Tennessee probably got all that stuff too. So you know, it's a different dynamic. So when you actually come in and you see somebody, you know, and they from your area and they actually grow, I mean, there's always some questions. Matter of fact, you know, if you're here now, you know, if you want to drop your state and where you from, what your weather looking like, and if you're growing, you know, hey, feel free. And maybe you can help somebody. That's crazy. I just saw a bug and I don't have no clue what that was. What in the world? What are these? Yeah, guys. So I'm gonna do. I got a ton of stuff to do. It's crazy, but I am definitely want to get in this section done today. I want to get it done. I want to make sure that it it's ready to do everything it need to do. Like I use this whole area, even though these beds are here, I do use this whole area as growing. I do grow stuff in the ground over here, um, but you know the beds are generally more of the herbs, except the strawberry bed. I am finna put some new plants down. So guys, have y'all ever heard of the honeyberry? Now that's a plant that I don't know it's gonna do well here. It's more of a northern, colder climate fruit, but I am growing them this year. And from what I heard, it has more nutrients and antioxidants than way more berries. So I definitely want to grow those if I can. Like I said, it is a cold climate, you know, berry, but I am definitely wanting to grow that. Yesterday, I went live, and a lot of people said that they never got notification, they didn't see it, none of that. So, did the people that come in today, did y'all get any notification that I am live, or did y'all just happen upon the live? Because Facebook might not be liking me right now. I'm definitely gonna go get my weed eater, and I'm finna get rid of these weeds. And it's gonna be hard for me not to rake this ground, but I'm not gonna rake it. I'm gonna leave it the way it is so I can go ahead and I can grow in it and the weeds don't take over. I need to put a mulch down. That's probably the best way to do it, is put a heavy mulch in this area so the weeds don't take over. So I can so everything grow the way it's supposed to. But I'm gonna sit here and run my mouth as long as I'm live. And I don't need to. I need to get something done. So this is one of my plants that's um, barely making it this year, but I ain't gonna say barely. It's doing good. It just the leaves kind of turned on me at the last moment. This is my chocolate plant, cocoa. But this one, this is my coffee. This is my coffee plant. And I don't know if I'm gonna have enough beans on there to make any coffee, but I do have about, let me see, one, two, three, I see, 8 beans. I'm hoping that it produces some more this year. I want to make my own coffee. So I want to go through the whole process of roasting them. So and these beds up here look horrible too. But this is my chocolate plant. So I want to grow some cocoa pods, make some chocolate. What we have here? I'm trying to get a couple more beans there. There goes some more right there too. Oh, what's that? Man. So that's another plant. Actually, both of those. I think with the coffee, this might be my second or third go around with those. And then with the chocolate, ooh, I think I'd have tried them maybe 3 4 times. And I figured out last year what I was doing wrong. And now I think I'm gonna be able to successfully grow those every year because it just figuring it out, guys. Just trying to figure out what it takes to actually grow them in the climate that you actually grow them in, and doing a lot of research. Every plant I got, I do a lot of research on each one of them. Now, keeping that all in your head, trying to make sure that you are you remember what to do different with each plant can be crazy because it is a lot when you have a lot. All right, guys, so I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna get to work. I definitely appreciate each one of y'all for coming in, hollering at your boy. Oh, to the new growers, I do have a video coming out on filling a garden bed. So, if you're trying to fill a garden bed or you're trying to figure out how to fill a garden bed, I went through that process and, you know, check it out. Definitely is a first step to creating a garden. You know, all the stuff you need to know. And, you know, check that out. If you're in a colder climate, getting ready to do that is definitely what you need to be doing. All right, guys. I'm gonna jump out of here. To the next time.